Hey Fundraiser, I'm Mary Petersen, and this is Hey Fundraiser, the podcast for development professionals who are done guessing and ready to build a major gift program that actually works. Every week, I bring you the tactics, the language, and the real-world strategy to close bigger gifts, deepen donor relationships, and lead with confidence. Whether you're a one-person shop or a seasoned major gift officer, if you're ready to stop hoping and start engineering, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hey Fundraiser, I'm Mary Petersen. I'm so glad you're here. The last couple podcast episodes, we have really kind of been in the weeds together. We've been talking about summer cultivation, what you can actually be doing right now to line up your year end, like specific moves that you can do in July and August that a lot of fundraisers skip or just don't really know that it's such an awesome opportunity. Real tactical stuff. And I know that you've been putting all these things into practice because you've been sending me the most amazing notes about it. And I love every single one of them. So please keep sending. But today I want to zoom out a little. This is going to be a little different from my typical, very tactical podcast. I want us to talk about what is really underneath all of those things that we've been talking about for the last couple episodes. Because, and I'm going to say this gently, you can have every script in the world. And if the mentality model is like off, none of them are going to land the way you want them to. So today, no scripts, no calendars, no like what to say when. Today is really about the thinking behind all of this. And here's the shift I want you to sit with. Ask a major donor once, and then I want you to thank them for the next 6 months. And I know I have a podcast called Ask Once and Thank for the 364 days. Now, I do wholeheartedly believe in that. And as a fundraiser, I usually sit down with my prospects in January, February, map out the entire year, and then I've kind of done. I just am implementing the plan. But for many of you, we're in summertime and there's 6 months left in the year. Ask once and then thank for the next 180 days. Like that's really the whole episode. I mean, everything else you're about to hear is kind of a footnote to that one sentence, but I want to teach you how to do this. This is really like, let's slow down for a second and look at how we're thinking about our donors. I think a lot of us in the work are exhausted and burnt out and just, I mean, even in the summer, and especially in the summer, because we know what's coming in the fall and we're already tired. I don't know about you, we're already exhausted. And when we're exhausted, we reach for the tactics. Like, oh my gosh, tell me the words, tell me what to do, tell me the script, tell me the plan, I'll do the plan. And the tactics matter. I am the person who writes about tactics all day long. So obviously I think tactics matter, but tactics without the right mental mindset, it really just turns you into a robot, and your donors can feel that. And I don't want that for you, fundraiser. And I don't want the people that you're serving to feel like that either. So today we're going to talk about 4 things. First, the last 6 months as a deposit. What have you actually been doing with your donors between January and now? And what does that tell you about the next 6 months? Second, I want to talk to you about what I like to call the ratio, right? Ask once, thank for the next 6 months, and what that actually means and why almost no fundraisers run their major gift work like this, which just blows my mind. Third, cultivating in a way that is a little bit more creative and a little less predictable. I'm going to give you a couple interesting creative thought points about that. And of course, none of them are going to cost you money. And then 4, the move that most fundraisers have never made. Planning the next 6 months with your donor, not for your donors. And then I'm going to give you 3 questions to kind of walk around with this week to really mull over. I mean, not homework, but like just little thought-provoking questions. Okay, so let's start with the deposit. The last 6 months of the relationship have been more of like making a deposit into the emotional bank account. And if you're a Stephen Covey fan, which I am a huge Stephen Covey fan, he talks about this emotional bank account, right? Like you have to make deposits into any relationship. You make deposits and then can you make a withdrawal? Just like a bank, you can't make a withdrawal if there hasn't been any deposits. So let me ask you something. And I want you to be honest with yourself because there's nobody listening but you and me. Think about your top major donor, the one that you are hoping is going to make a big, beautiful gift at year end. What have you actually done with them since January? Like, not what you meant to do, not what's on your list for August, not any future plans, but what did you actually do? What did you send them? Did you call them? Did they hear from you in a way that had nothing to do with money? And I know that can kind of sting a little bit. And it stung the first time I realized it too. I remember the year I actually stopped and did this exercise for the first time. I was probably maybe 10 or 12 years into this work. And I thought I'm a good fundraiser, right? I'm meeting my goals. I'm bringing in big gifts. I'm building deep relationships. But then I sat down with my top 10 donors on paper and I made myself write down every single time I'd been in touch with them over the last 6 months. Like what I actually did, like not what I meant to do. And for the top 3 donors, the answer was nothing, 0. I didn't call, I didn't send a note, nothing. Like these were people who had given to the organization hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. And, they were engaged, right? Like I would see them at an event. The executive director would make calls and things like that. But when I really sat down and looked at, have I been in touch with these people? Oh, cringe. I'm cringing. I hadn't reached out to them. And I know I'm not a bad fundraiser, right? But I was a busy fundraiser who had gotten swept up in all the urgent things that come across your desk every day. And I lost the important things. I lost almost my North Star. So if that's you, like you're thinking, ooh, I totally get that. If you're doing the mental math on your own list and realizing that you might have gone dark on some of your best people, first, take a breath. You are not the only one. But secondly, it's not too late because the truth is, most of us, even those of us who have been doing this for a long time, tend to go quiet with our top donors. Like it's winter and then it's spring and then you're starting to get summer and there's graduations and there's weddings and there's spring break and there's winter break. And it's just a lot. And there's no fundraising deadline except for like the end of the fiscal year. Like there's summer, and summer feels like this nebulous season. Donors are on vacation, we're on vacation, and things just kind of like drift. And then October shows and we sit down to write our year-end asks and realize that we just haven't had like a real deep conversation with our top 10 list, maybe since the spring or since the January. And then we start to feel awkward about the ask because the relationship isn't as warm as maybe it should be. And we blame ourselves for procrastinating, but it really isn't procrastinating. It is that the relationship account has been like slowly draining for months because we didn't tend to it. So here's a way I want you to think about it. Every touch point between you and a donor, right? A note, a call, a text exchange, coffee, maybe an article you sent, is a deposit in the relationship bank account. And I personally don't think every ask is a withdrawal. I think an ask is a deposit because you're offering this awesome opportunity for someone to lean in and make amazing change in the world. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that an ask is a withdrawal. So if you've made a dozen deposits, since the beginning of the year, then you feel like, oh, I feel like I've asked or I've earned the right to make a big withdrawal in October. Like the account is full. If you've made 2 deposits since January and the withdrawal you want to make is $50,000 and the account is already overdrawn before you began, like the math just doesn't math. So think of the last 6 months or so as what kind of deposits. And if you are hearing this episode in the summer, you still have a lot of time to fill the account before you ask. And it doesn't really matter what time of year you actually hear this. If you have a fiscal year end coming up in 6 months, a calendar year end coming up in 6 months, an event coming up in the next 6 months, whatever it is, this episode is for you. So that's really the whole reason why I keep talking about this summer cultivation. It's why the last 3 episodes have been about what you could be doing now to set yourself up. And believe me, I'm not obsessed with summer, but I'm obsessed with deposits because the deposits have to happen before the withdrawal. And the summer is where the deposits perfectly align. So take a breath. If the answer to my question, what have I done for my top donor since January, is not a lot, that's okay. You have time. You just have to start. We just have to start today. I mean, not next week, but like today. Okay. Second thing, ask once and thank for the next 180 days. Now, this is a reframe that I want you to carry with you into every single donor conversation for the rest of your career. Like, you ask a major donor once, and then you thank them for X amount of days. Again, I like to do it once a year and kind of plan the year out with people. But if you have 6 months left in your fiscal year, this episode is for you because you can sit down and plan the next 6 months. It doesn't have to always be 10, 12 months that you're planning out. Most of us do the opposite of this. We cultivate for a short time, we ask, we send a thank you note. The gift is acknowledged, and then we disappear until we kind of need something again. And then we wonder why the second gift is like the same amount or maybe even less than the first, or why the donor doesn't respond to our calls every year, or why they gave to somebody else this funding cycle. It's not because they lost interest in the mission. It's because we treated them like the ask was the destination. And the ask is always just part of the journey. It's not the point you rest, right? The ask is just a moment in this long, lengthy relationship that you have. So let's break down the math for a second. The ask itself, like the actual conversation, is like it's one meeting. One meeting, and sometimes even less. Sometimes it's like 10 minutes of a meeting. The cultivation before it, if you've done it well, has been going on for probably 6 months. 6 months of calls and invitations, like all of these deposits that we've been talking about. And the stewardship after it, if you do well, is probably going to be the next 6 months. So another 6 months of thanking, showing them that the gift has been set to work, showing them the impact that their gift has made, like all these things, it's all adding up. So that's like 365 days of relationship. And you're asking maybe once or twice a year. And yet, I'm going to be quite honest here. Most of us spend 90% of our emotional energy on that one day. We agonize over the words. We rehearse. We lose sleep. And then the day after the ask, when the donor has said yes and the check is, coming in, or the stock transfer is going to make it, like, we all exhale and move on to the next thing. But this is where we lose our next gift, right here in that exhale. So here is what thanking for 180 days actually looks like. And I'm not going to give you a calendar with dates because that is in a playbook that I'm going to get to here in a minute. And I don't want to go into like a how-to right now, but I do want to give you the shape of it. Okay, so over the next 6 months, you have mapped out with your donor, or you've made an ask, and you need to follow that plan for the next 6 months. But I like to introduce a relationship rhythm. So before the ask, I am typically in touch with my prospect every 10 to 14 days. After the ask, I'm in touch at least monthly. This could be impact stories. I mean, not a stat, a moment. I want you to tell the donor what happened like you would tell a friend, and not like, oh, here's our latest newsletter. Read the story on page 3. No. I want you to do check-in calls, some with an agenda, some without an agenda, just to say thanks and see how their surgery went, or how their cruise went, or, how's the new grandbaby, things like that. Hey, fundraiser. Before you sign up for another fundraising conference where you might leave with a good tote bag but zero strategy to raise more money, let me invite you to Major Gift Momentum. This is my private coaching group where you'll get weekly coaching calls with me, access to my full Major Gift curriculum, and a community that's actually moving the needle. Major Gift Momentum isn't based in theory, it's based in action. Members are closing 5- and 6-figure gifts within 3 months of joining. Heather just closed a $245,000 gift. Jacelyn just closed a $212,000 campaign gift. And Georgette just got a $500,000 commitment. All within 3 months of joining Momentum. Each of these Momentum members didn't think the donor would give that much, but once I taught them my method, they are raising money at a whole new level. So would you like in, fundraiser? If you do, go to heyfundraiser.com/momentum and let's get started. You can write notes. There are so many things that you can do in that 6 months. Invite them to see the work firsthand. Invite them behind the scenes. Send a video from someone whose life has been changed by the gift they've made. I mean, oh my gosh, I could rattle off hundreds of reasons. Like, notice something about that list. Everything we've just talked about, none of it has to do with an ask. None of it is another ask. The next ask comes when you're back at the top of whatever cycle. It could be 12 months, it could be 6 months. But it's just a continuation of the conversation that you've been having with this donor for 6 months, 12 months, 10 years. So here's the sentence that I want to etch into your brain, or a sticky note above your monitor, whatever's easier. The thank you is the next cultivation. If you are stewarding well, you're really not starting from scratch each year. You're picking up in the middle of a conversation that's been alive for a long time. And keep that rhythm up. When you keep your relationship rhythm going, the relationship never goes cold. The next ask feels like the next natural step because it is. And as you know, I'm a big fan of permission-based fundraising. So what I tend to do is say to my prospect, hey, I would love to sit down with you. Let's map out the next 6 months or year, whichever cadence you're going with. I can bring some ideas, but I also would love to hear what you're thinking, like how you'd like to lean in this year. Could we go get coffee and talk through it? They know an ask is coming. And if getting a no is keeping you up at night, right? Like, anybody can ask for money. It's how do you handle a no is the real sticky thing. But if getting a no or a rejection is what is keeping you up at night, when you show up with a menu and you've mapped out the next 6 or 12 months, your chances of getting a no are quite slim because they're going to do something on that list. So that kind of mitigates that. I just want to put that out there for the people who've got a little fear inside them. Okay, the third thing is I want you to cultivate a little differently. So you're with me on the rhythm, right? You're with me on the 6 months of thanking. Now let's talk about what those touches and touch points actually look like. Many of us get stuck here. We know we need to be in touch. We know we need to be present, but we sit down to plan the next couple weeks and we draw a blank. And then we default to the same 5 moves that we've been doing for years. The holiday card, the annual report mailing, the stewardship visit, the impact update, the event invitation. I mean, none of those are wrong. But if every donor on your list is getting those same things, those same 5 moves, and you're the 5th nonprofit this month that's actually doing the exact same thing, you blur in. I don't want you to blur, fundraiser. I want to think a little bit more creatively, and not for the sake of just being creative, but for the sake of your donors actually feeling something when they hear from you. Here are 3 principles that I use. None of them are going to cost you any money, by the way. 1, the touch point should be about them, not you. This is huge. Most cultivation is secretly about the organization. The impact story is our story. The invitation to our event, the update on our program, even our thank you notes are about us. We appreciate, we are grateful, we could not do this. Like, let's flip that on its head and make it about them. Reference something they told you they cared about. Respond to something happening in their life. Send them the book that they mentioned in April, in July, with a short note that says, I saw this, I had to get it for you. And really what that says is, I remembered you. Not because the book has anything to do with your mission, but because it's something, it shows them who you are. Like that kind of touch point says, I've been paying attention to who you are, not just what you might fund. So make it more about them. And a little side note here, many fundraisers, we feel like we have to take all the airspace. Like we have to tell them how awesome we are and how we deserve their funding. And we've done this and we've done this and we've done this and we've done this. And then we walk away from that meeting like, wait, I didn't get anything about them. And they politely sat and listened to you, fundraiser, go on for like 55 minutes. Okay, so principle 2, the touch point should surprise them a little. I mean, not a big shop, but like a small, unexpected kindness. So it could be the introduction to a person they would love to meet without them having to ask you for it. The article you saw in the New Yorker that reminded you of them, maybe a voice memo instead of an email, like let them hear your voice. It could be that specific compliment about the specific thing that they said at the gala that you've been thinking about for months. The best touch points are the ones where the donor pauses for a second and thinks, oh my gosh, that was so thoughtful, or that made my day, or I can't believe they remembered that. I had a donor once who told me months after the fact that a voice memo I sent her on like a random Tuesday where I just told her about a moment I had in the program that made me think of her. It was one of the most favorite things that she'd ever received. It wasn't the polished impact report. It wasn't the gala invitation. It wasn't all these glossy things that we all spend, forever doing. I left her like a 60-second voice memo that I recorded in my kitchen. Now, she didn't know that, but I didn't know it was going to be so impactful, but that's the kind of touch point that I'm talking about. The touch point should cost you very little. A handwritten note takes 5 minutes. An email takes 30 seconds. Your donor knows the difference. Even if they never say it out loud to you, they know. Like a specific gift chosen for them could take 30 minutes of thought. Or a generic thank you note could take 90 seconds. They know the difference. So when the touch points that land, I mean, the ones that really build relationships, build trust, and make people feel seen are the ones where the donor can tell you we're thinking about them specifically. And here is the beautiful part. If you have 30 top donors and you're going to allot 30 minutes of thought per donor, that's 15 hours, right? It's not a lot. It's very doable. And that's the difference between a program that's kind of limping along and a major gift program that is thriving. Okay, 4th segment. And this is really the aha. Okay, I can't even tell you how much this changed my philosophy. I will share this with you because I don't know why. I tell you the cringiest things of my career, but fundraiser, I do it because I don't want you to have these cringe moments, right? Like, let's just all know that somebody in the world, mainly me, has had them, and then you don't need to have them. But when I was raising money in a hospital setting once, I mean, I would walk down the hall and like doctors would just like jump into patient rooms. Were they their patients? No, but they were like avoiding me. So then I realized like, oh, I think I'm asking too much, right? Like the golf tournament's coming up. Hey, could you do a foursome? And then the fall gala, we'd love for you and your practice, your physicians to come together and have a table. It's year end. It's time to make a gift. And then the spring fling is coming up. Like every couple months, I was asking these doctors for gifts, and no wonder they were running. So then I came up with this, you know what? I'm going to ask once and ask for everything in the entire year. And then I'll just thank them for 364 days. So there you have the origin story of ask once and thank for 364 days. But right now we have 6 months left in the year. So this is what I'm hoping you will picture yourself sitting down with your top donors and saying to them, I want to plan the next 6 months of our relationship together. And what could that look like? So most donors have never been asked what they want from the relationship. They have been told what to expect. They have been invited to events. They have been sent updates. They've been asked for gifts, but I guarantee very few fundraisers have ever sat across from them and said, how do you feel about this? Would this experience be meaningful? Like, what kind of things are you hungry for this year? And this is also where it happens that you make your ask. So some donors will say they want more access to the executive director, or they want to see more programs, or some might say they actually want less contact, and that's okay too. They might say, I just want to give and be left alone, and that's okay. Some will say they want to be brought into decisions before they're asked. Some will say they want to help you bring in more donors. Some will say they want to help with the gala, like whatever. Whatever they say, you now know exactly how to design the next 6 months in a way that's going to land for them, right? For them, not to you, not to your ED, not to the board, not to the program, to them. And here's what really surprised me when I started implementing this strategy and really started understanding it. Donors who are asked what they want from the relationship almost always ask for more of it, not less. More access, more depth, more meaning, more involvement. I mean, the fear that they will pull back is almost never realized. I've hardly ever got that. They actually lean in. And the more they lean in, the more they give. So it's not that you have to sell harder. It's really that you're building a space where they feel comfortable telling you what leaning in likes to look or should look like for them. So I typically go into these meetings with a sketch. Literally, it's like on paper. I've either handwritten it or put it on letterhead and it's typed out. It's a one pager. It's not a case for support. And it just maps out the next 6 months. Like, here's how we hope that you will lean in for the next 6 months. And it could be, put everything you want on there. It could be buying a table at the gala in October. It could be making an anchor gift at Giving Tuesday for $10,000. It could be that you want them, this couple, to come in and, because they're business owners, talk to the teenagers who are taking an entrepreneur class. I mean, I'm just making this up. But it doesn't have to all be about money. It can be about time, talent, and treasure. And when you lay it out like that by month, people will tell you like, oh, I'm going to be out of town during the gala, but I'll make a $5,000 gift in lieu of attendance that you can, a proxy maybe can raise the paddle for me. Like, it becomes more of a negotiation and discussion than like this scary moment. All right, my friend. I told you at the top that I didn't want to give you homework, but I wanted to give you a couple questions to kind of walk around with and sit with. I don't want you to rush through to answer these. I mean, these are deep, right? Like, really think through. Okay, so question one is, I want you to pick your top 3 donors. And I want you to sit down with pen and paper and really map out, what have you actually done with them this year so far? Not what did I mean to do? What did I do? And what does that tell you about the state of the relationship bank account right now? Like, really kind of think about that. When you think about that, it is going to tell you how much you need to lean in to warm up that relationship. Okay, question 2 is, I want you to pick a donor who gave last year and sit down and think, how did I thank them? How long did I thank them? Like, what did stewardship look like at day 30 and 60 and 90 and 180 days? And if the honest answer is a thank you letter and a couple of newsletters, what would you do different? What should you do different to keep relationships warm and keep making those emotional deposits? Okay, question 3. I want you to think about 3 of your top donors. Imagine that you asked each of them what they would want for the next 6 months of the relationship. Like, what do you think each of them would say? If you can't answer with any confidence, maybe you don't know them well enough, and that's where the work needs to begin. Okay, fundraiser. So we covered a lot, but here, everything really rolls up into this. Ask once and thank for the next 6 months. You can do it for the next 364 days, or you can do it the next 180 days. But the key is ask once, and everything else kind of grows from that one idea. Now, before I let you go, today was like the philosophy, right? It was a lot of the mindset, the way of being with your donors that I want you to kind of carry with you into the fall and into year end. And if it landed with you, if you want the tactical version, like specific scripts, calendars, trackers, emails that I send at year end, like all of the things between now and December 31st, I have built the Year-End Major Gift Playbook. It is 20 pages of awesome. And it's everything that a lot of things I didn't get a chance to tell you today, but essentially it's a 6-month cultivation strategy to either warm people up or plan the next 6 months with them. And yes, you're going to get my best 20 cultivation ideas. I have 4 different types of cultivation, all these things. So I priced it very low on purpose. I want this to be a no-brainer for any fundraiser who is heading into year end and wants a complete playbook in their hands in like the next 20 minutes. So I'm going to put the link in the show notes. Get it, print it, mark it up. Now is really the time to think through, what does the next 6 months look like for me as a fundraiser? But what does the next 6 months look like for my top 20 donors? What do I want them to do? How do I want to sit down with them and map it out with them instead of for them? Okay, fundraiser, I'll put all these links in the description, but take good care of yourself out there. This work is the long game. Ask once, thank for 180 days. Start that relationship rhythm and just kind of live in the rhythm. And thanks for being in the work with me. Okay, fundraiser, I'll see you next Friday. Fundraiser, thank you for being here. This work you do, it matters. You are the bridge between generosity and impact, and don't let anyone, including the hard weeks, convince you otherwise. If today's episode gave you something useful, please pass it along. One share, one text to a colleague, one review on Apple Podcasts. That's how this show reaches the people who need it most. Come find me at heyfundraiser.com, and I'll see you next Friday.